Hey there, this is Noah with Dent Ops, and in this video I'm going to show you a few ways that you can submit estimates or scopes to Dent Ops so that we can translate and or scrub them for you. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'm here signed into a demo account of the Dent Ops portal. You can access this from any device and follow these steps from any device. I'm actually here on the quick start page to start with, which is where you might land if you just sign in or you just created an account. And the next thing that you should do from here is you can navigate over to your portal in the estimate history section, and it'll give you a nice overview of some of the options that you have to submit your estimate over to us. I'm going to go through these options, but I'm going to skip this first one here, and then I'm actually instead going to tell you about the estimator. We'll go over that last. First off, let's talk about how to submit an estimate via MTRX or DentMate. This video is a really great overview on how to submit your MTRX estimate over to Dent Ops and I believe also your DentMate estimate. Really all you need to do is take your estimate photos and any other files, put them in an email and email it to translate@dentops.com. MTRX and DentMate both have great features on how to email this over. An alternative option you have now, which wasn't available when we first created this walkthrough, is to use the rekey feature inside of MobileTechRX, the integration that we have with them. Will send the estimate over to us from your account under your preferred settings, and it'll allow us to translate and scrub this estimate for you. So it's very quick and easy there. Again, combine that information, estimate, photos, any other documentation into an email and send it on over to translate@dentops.com, or you can just hit the button. Actually, if I click quick start right here, there's a really great visual that we created for this video where you can see in MTRX, you click the little ellipses menu, hit email, or the rekey option is somewhere down here now, which is a really great option for you. But if you email it, translate@dentops.com, make sure you include the estimate in media, and we always recommend emailing it from server. Sometimes it can get caught up in your email outbox if you email it from device, but we pretty much never have problems if you email it from server. So that's the quick overview on MTRX, very similar process for DentMate. Now, the next way that you can actually submit estimates over to Dent Ops or scopes over to Dent Ops is if we go into the Submit an Estimate section in our portal. We see an easy-to-use form right here. So if you're using an insurance estimate, or you just have an estimate PDF, or you're using a paper scope maybe, this is a really great way to submit this information over to us. And again, this is accessible on a computer, tablet, phone, whatever device that you're using. You just sign in, and anyone, as long as they have manager permissions or above on your team, are able to follow this process as well. So they can select which sub-profile to upload it to. Let's just assume it's the main profile. The translation level, translations, translation plus scrub, or translation plus conversion. The estimate. The translation level, which we can either use your default sub-profile settings. That's just maybe by default you have everything set to translation plus scrub. Awesome. Just keep it as default. That's what it's set to by default, and then we can continue on with it. Upload the estimate, whether that's a photo or a PDF. Choose the estimate type. Add any relevant notes, and then upload any other files such as photos, insurance estimate, invoices, receipts, so on and so forth that might be relevant for us to write this estimate. You add all this information in and then hit send to Dent Ops. So I'm actually going to upload some dummy information here so we can see what happens next. You can just drag and drop stuff if it's your computer, or you can click and select files. So I'm going to upload that into other files, and while that's loading, I'm going to say this is actually a MobileTechRX estimate that we're using here. And let's say we need this one back as high as possible. We always try to do that anyways unless you tell us otherwise, but let's just add it as a note. So we've uploaded our photos and our files. Everything looks good here. Let's say we just want to use our default sub-profile settings. Or translations, when we just put it into CCC1, we don't go looking for all the extra stuff. This is our lower tier estimating service, and it is lower cost as well. Really great for body shops that are just looking to bridge that administrative gap. Translation plus scrubs are when we put it in CCC1 and then look for all of the other additional operations and do comparative pricing, one-time use parts, OEM procedures, all of that good stuff. And then translation plus scrub plus conversion is where if anything is written as conventional, whether we did comparative pricing on it or you marked it as conventional even, we would actually convert any of those conventional panels into a single PDR line So we take all the operations that are associated with that conventional repair, say it's a hood replacement, we take that, the fender blends, R&I that belongs to the blends, if it's not already applied to maybe paintless dent repair that was on the fenders as well, and we'd convert it into a single PDR line for the hood, and you'd end up with two estimates actually. You'd end up with an estimate where everything's been converted into PDR, and then you would have what we call the alternative conventional estimate, which is it contains the breakdown of how did we come up with the numbers on each of these panels, how did we determine how much that single PDR line is for any conventional panels that we converted over there. So let's just stick with our default subprofile settings for right now. I can go ahead and hit send to Dent Ops, and then boom, we see estimate has been submitted. Now we're going to come back and check this in a couple of minutes here because I'm going to show you the estimator in the meantime. But you should see after just a couple of minutes or a few minutes, that estimate would appear in right here as in my estimate history section, so I can keep track of it as it goes along. Our turnaround's within 1 business day. Most of the time, if you send us something, especially if it's before like 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern time, you're going to get it back same day. We're pretty quick with it. Vast majority of our files are back well within 12 hours. Anyways, while we're waiting for this file to pop up over here, I'm going to show you the estimator because this is the third way that you can create estimates and submit them over to Dent Ops, or create scopes and submit them over to Dent Ops. So when I pop into Dent Ops estimator here, the first thing I'm actually going to show you is you can either create a new estimate from scratch and just start it to begin with, or a really handy feature that we have built into here is actually intake forms. So I'll show you this very briefly. We have QR codes you can provide. You can even print this QR code and stick it in your front office or whatever for your customers to self-intake, whether they scan the QR code or follow the link that's right there, or you can do intake yourself. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this is the intake form. It's branded to your company. I'm just going to say Jane Doe, and I'll plug in some information. I'll do bare minimum just so we can get through this form quickly. The vehicle information, you don't need to give when what date the damage occurred, but let's say they knew and it happened on Monday. And let's say this is going to be a 2019 Ram, we'll call it a 1500, and it's going to be silver. We can add multiple vehicles to this intake form if we want to. So if a customer is bringing in 3, 4, 5 different vehicles, or however many, you can add as many as you want. I'll hit next step. If they have insurance information, you can just start to fill it out. Let's say nation or national. You can see that it pre-fills some options. You can just keep typing if you want to, or if you see the one that you want to use, let's say American National, you can stick with that. Have they already filed a claim? If yes, they have the ability to add a claim number. If no, you can just go ahead and skip it. Deductible, all this straightforward stuff, insurance, rental coverage. Click next step, and then there's finally any other information that the customer might want us to know in order for us to better assist them. We'll hit submit, and I'll show you what happens from there. Assume the customer just did self-intake. If we pop over to opportunities, we can see this new Jane Doe just got created in here. And so from here, we can pop in, see, okay, customer did intake, whether you send them that link via text or email, or they came into your front office and did the intake right there. You've got access to it. You could just click it, click create an estimate, confirm, and now you're into our estimating workflow. So you can choose the subprofile it belongs to or any of this information. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but let's just click next step. We'll click through it. You can add a VIN number in here if you want to, or we can just say the VIN is not available. We can choose the vehicle type, in this case is a truck, so we can estimate this right. Next, say we wanted to add more information. Okay, we actually know that their deductible is $500, so we can fill that in. Let's continue on here. We have some features you can dig into in your own time, but let's just say the Hail Matrix profile might be default. We're continuously adding new matrices into here, but let's just leave it at default for now, which I believe is the standard matrix. It should preload your subprofile's labor rates that are added in here, tax rates, our parts taxes, labor taxed, all of that. You can always edit it right here if you would like to, but I'm just going to leave it for now. Next step, we have the ability to actually write some estimates. So I am not going to go into every single panel, but let's just say on the hood, for example, we might say that this thing, we need to replace it. So we're just going to mark it for replace. I could add photos to it if I wanted to right here, which would tag these photos as hood photos. Okay, so the hood needs replacement, but let's say the roof, we can add on, we can either say PDR for conventional cost, which just tells the Dent Ops team we need to find the conventional cost and then we need to convert it over into a single PDR line just for very easy workflow. Or we could say, yeah, this thing's got 101 to 150 quarter size dents, and it's, I don't believe the rims are aluminum, but let's say it's aluminum, so we can add that markup to it and adds on in real time. Let's say it's got, 4 oversized dents. Great, and let's say we want to add on some R&I of the headliner and the antenna and the back glass and whatever else you want to add on there too. Let's say the roof moldings, both a replacement. We don't give you part costs in here, but this just indicates to the Dent Ops team that we need to replace these parts so we can get them added to your estimate. And that will give you the part cost and the part number and all that good stuff. So you can plug in costs here if you call up the dealership or whoever parts provider and add them in if you'd like to, and we'll make sure that we include them. Any notes? Like you could say there's cracked paint up here or, oxidation on the panel, whatever, or additional notes. And then you can add some photos in as well. So let's say, this isn't going to be the correct type of vehicle, but I can drag and drop photos or I can choose them from my photo album on my phone. It's going to add each of these here into the file. I can go ahead and hit save and exit panel. And it's been added into the estimate. Now, a cool thing that we have built into here, not to spend too much time on this, is we help you to see at a glance if you're missing anything. So we have a little key here, and the key shows you if it's got a red outline, that means it's got conventional repair. If it's the top right quadrant is filled, that means you've included your matrix damage, 1 to 5, 6 to 15, so on and so forth. Bottom right is oversized dents, so you never have to miss oversized dents. Bottom left is individual dents, or like per dent pricing or price a dent, however you call it. So just individual dents, say there's a 2.5 inch deep dent on the panel with your markups, that would be filled in if we added that into any given panel. And then top left is your parts, such as R&I or R&R. At a very quick glance, you can see matrix, oversize, dents, and parts. Just so once you do this a couple times, you get really, really familiar with how everything works. So if I, for example, added into the roof rail, just some items in here, and I hit save and exit, and you go back and at a glance you filled in as many panels as you know have damage, and you're just doing a mental checklist of did I miss anything, and you say, okay, the right roof rail does not have any oversized dents added to it. I'm pretty confident I saw some there. This makes it very easy for you to go back and add that in there. But the thing we like about our software that we built specifically for hail workflows is it's got everything in each panel. You don't need to go to different places to add them in there. So everything all in one spot. You can add custom panels if you want to. If they're not already included on here, you can add miscellaneous items, so admin fees, estimating fees, corrosion protection, cover car, mask jams, anything like that. We have some preloaded ones that you can use. I'll just show you very quickly. Preloaded ones with some default values if you want to use them, or you can change anything, change the type of labor. We do have mechanical labor baked into here. The number of labor hours, you can add more miscellaneous operations to the estimate if you want to. It's pretty straightforward. I'll go on to next step, and the next step is actually the photos. If I wanted to add more photos to this than I could, we function very similarly to CCC image reports in that all of these pictures are going to get added to a single PDF that's easy to reference, one file versus 100 different files if you have 100 different photos. Easy all in one spot. We also have a cool feature baked into here which is called featured photos, and you can choose up to 6 featured images. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to upload a number of additional photos in here so you can see a little bit better how that works. I'm going to click confirm. They're not associated with any specific panel. We can see all of those photos getting added in here. We actually reduce the file sizes on the back end, so it makes it easy to email these files back and forth with very, very minimal quality loss. So we've got these photos in here, and let's say I want to really showcase the photos that show the most damage, that make this look like this car has the most damage. So I'm going to add a favorite to the hood photo there, I'm going to add a favorite to this one, and then I'm going to add a favorite to this one. Now these are going to be at the very top of my image report, and they're going to be slightly larger than the other standard images. They'll still show up in the right panels that they're associated with, but they'll just be at the top of the image report. So I'll click next. We've got a summary of how everything looks here. And then from this page, I could do a few different things. I can either email the estimate and photos, view the estimate, view the image report, update the status like scheduled or in process or what have you. Or I can boost this job. So going back to the original purpose of this video and submitting estimates, we just went through essentially scoping a car, and now how can you send it to Dent Ops? Well, hit boost this job, and you have the ability to actually choose what you want Dent Ops to do. So we can translate the estimate into CCC1, scrub it, submit to insurance, outsource to claim administration. So if I hit, I want to translate and scrub this estimate, and I also want to do Dent Ops to handle the claim administration, we give you a snapshot of what that looks like. It's protected by guarantee mode. It costs 3 credits. We actually have 3 credits in our account already, it looks like. So cool. This one's essentially going to be free. I can hit boost this job, and it will send directly over to Dent Ops, and you'll see again after just a few minutes, it'll pop into your estimate history section inside of your portal. If negotiation is enabled on your account, which it may or may not be enabled, again, it just says, please contact Dent Ops support to enable claim negotiation services. You just have to qualify and sign an agreement, and we can get that enabled for you. You'd have the ability to do that. If you were to select that, it would pre-select everything that's required. So the translation plus scrub, submission, claim administration, and you'd hit boost this job, and we'd take care of it for you. So that is the Dent Ops estimator in a nutshell, and how you can use it for scoping. Very quick and easy. We've tried to build this workflow around Hail. So let's go back over to our estimate history section so we can see what's going on over here. Now we can see that this job is in process. It doesn't have any information yet because we have someone on our team building the file. So it will get updated over time, and you'll see like the vehicle owner, the vehicle, the VIN. If I click this record, I can see a little bit more details about it, such as the start estimate amount, the end estimate amount, the percentage of vehicle value, download estimate, and more actions. So I'm not going to get into the details of what to do with all this right now. That's in another video. But just to recap, we went through a few different ways that you can submit estimates to Dent Ops. We don't care which way you send estimates to us. We just want to give you options so that you can pick whatever's easiest and makes the most sense for your workflow and your operation. So again, we skip the option 1 right here. You can either send it to us via MobileTech or DentMate. If it's MobileTech, I highly recommend the integration, or you can email it to translate@dentops.com. You can do that with DentMate as well. Or you can submit it via your portal, again, under the Submit and Estimate page. It's very, very quick and easy. Or you can be writing scopes and sending them to us directly over from Estimator, which is built into this whole portal, accessible from any device. So I hope this video was helpful just in showing you how to send estimates to Dent Ops. Please don't get analysis paralysis. Just pick one. Pick whichever one seems to make the most sense, and know that the other ones are available to you if you want. With that being said, I hope this video was helpful, and we will see you in the next one.